The 28th of February 2026. At 5 a.m. in Israel, the sky is still dark when several fighter jets take off from an airbase in the south of the country. They carry long-range precision missiles. The mission has been prepared for months. Only a small circle of military and intelligence officials know the full plan. According to Israeli intelligence and the CIA, a rare meeting is taking place in Tehran. Inside a secured government compound near central Tehran, several of Iran's most powerful leaders have gathered. Among them is the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei. For weeks, US and Israeli intelligence had reportedly tracked movements of senior Iranian officials. They studied communication patterns. They analyzed security changes. They believed this meeting was real and that Khamenei would be there. Originally, the attack was planned for nighttime, but when intelligence confirmed that multiple top officials were present in the same compound, the timing changed. This opportunity was considered too important to miss. At approximately 8:07 a.m. Tehran time, the first missiles strike. Explosions tear through the complex. Thick black smoke rises into the sky. Windows shatter across nearby streets. Within seconds, several buildings inside the compound are heavily damaged. According to Israeli officials, the opening strike lasted less than 1 minute. Satellite images taken shortly after show large sections of the compound destroyed. Emergency vehicles rush to the scene. Iranian state media initially report a major explosion, but provide no details. Hours later, confirmation comes. Ali Khamenei is dead. Also reported killed are several senior military and security officials, including high-ranking members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The operation had a name. In Israel, it was reportedly called Roaring Lion. In the United States, officials described it as a defensive precision strike, but the strike on the compound was only the beginning. Within minutes, Israel launches additional waves of attacks targeting Iran's air defense systems, especially around Tehran. Fighter jets cross into Iranian airspace. Military radar stations and missile sites are hit. Roughly 30 minutes after the first strike, U.S. forces join the operation. American naval vessels in the region launch cruise missiles at military targets in eastern Iran, U.S. Officials later state that the goal was to weaken Iran's missile capabilities and prevent immediate retaliation. By midday, explosions are reported in multiple Iranian cities. The Middle East is on the edge of war. To understand this moment, we need to go back decades. Until 1979, Iran was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, an authoritarian monarch supported by the United States. During the Iranian Revolution, the Shah was overthrown. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile and founded the Islamic Republic of Iran. The new regime was built on Islamic law and strong opposition to Western influence. The United States and Israel were declared enemies. After Khomeini's death in 1989, Ali Khamenei became supreme leader. Over time, he became the most powerful figure in Iran's political system. Under his leadership, Iran expanded its regional influence. It supported armed groups opposed to Israel. It developed its missile program, and it advanced its nuclear program. In 2002, secret Iranian nuclear facilities were revealed. Western governments feared Iran could eventually build a nuclear weapon. Iran denied that it wanted nuclear arms, saying its program was for peaceful energy purposes. In 2015, after years of negotiations, the United States, under President Barack Obama, and several world powers reached a nuclear agreement with Iran. In exchange for sanctions relief, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities. But in 2018, President Donald Trump withdrew from the deal, calling it one-sided and ineffective. Sanctions were reimposed. Tensions increased again. Over the following years, there were cyber attacks, assassinations of nuclear scientists, and indirect conflicts across the region. By 2025, Iran's economy was under severe pressure. Sanctions, inflation, and currency collapse caused widespread hardship. Large protests broke out across the country. The government responded with force. Internet access was restricted. Thousands were reportedly arrested. At the same time, negotiations between the United States and Iran stalled again. According to U.S. officials, Intelligence reports in early 2026 suggested that Iran was increasing its uranium enrichment and expanding missile production. Israeli officials publicly warned that Iran was moving closer to becoming a nuclear threshold state. Diplomacy failed. On February 26, a final round of talks in Geneva ended without agreement. 2 days later, the strike happened. Iran responded quickly. Within hours of the attack, Iran launched what it called Operation True Promise 4. Missiles were fired toward Israeli military targets. Air defense systems across Israel were activated. Explosions were heard in several cities. Iran also launched drones and missiles toward U.S. military bases in the region. Interceptions were reported in Iraq and the Gulf. Some missiles were stopped, others caused damage. Regional tensions spread rapidly. Shipping routes near the Strait of Hormuz were disrupted. Oil prices surged on global markets. Several countries closed their airspace temporarily. Inside Iran, reactions were mixed. Some citizens mourned the death of Khamenei, who had ruled for more than 3 decades. State television broadcast images of crowds holding his portrait. Others saw the moment as the beginning of uncertainty. Who would succeed him? Iran's political system quickly announced a provisional leadership council to ensure continuity. In Washington, President Trump addressed the nation. He described the strike as necessary to protect American forces and allies. He argued that Iran posed an imminent threat. Critics, however, questioned that claim. Some legal experts debated whether the strike was a war of necessity or a preventive war. Others questioned whether congressional approval was required. Protests erupted in several cities around the world, some against Iran's government, others against American and Israeli military action. The number of casualties continued to rise in the days that followed. Exact figures remained unclear, and independent verification was difficult. As military exchanges continued, one thing became clear. The killing of Ali Khamenei was not just a single event. It changed the balance of power inside Iran. It reshaped alliances across the Middle East. And it opened a new, uncertain chapter in the long conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States. At this moment, the situation remains unstable. Retaliation and counter-retaliation continue. Diplomatic channels are strained. Global markets are nervous. What began at 6:02 a.m. with a series of fighter jets may shape the region for years to come. And by the time you are hearing this, new developments may already be unfolding.